Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Control Over C. And this is the first Control Over C podcast of the new year. I'm, of course, your co host, Ike Isaacs. And as always, I am joined by Shark of the Salsa. We're going to need a bigger boat. How's it going, man?
Well, that's about it.
Thing to say it. And we actually have some stuff to talk about as a brief.
Dose of
Recap
acid when I
because
wrote
obviously
that.
we heroic dose of acid.
You know, the hero dose. When you think you're going to die, but you pull through in the end.
Oh,
All
yeah,
right.
always.
Specific complaints regarding Watch Dogs. Yeah, pretty much I complained about how it's kind of dumb of them to not just admit that Assassin's Creed is canon in that universe.
Yeah, so I remember that. I remember we that was actually you had some feelings about that, and
Eh, it's one way to phrase it.
and
It's,
then or go ahead.
well, I'll say other than that, it looks like we just talked about what's going on with Watch Dogs, um, Watch Dogs more. Literally the entire of last episode was Watch Dogs, and I guess we talked about Christmas.
Yeah, and so I think we also talked about The Last of Us at some point because I remember that was in there briefly, and then I also did a New Year special. I just did like a quick most anticipated games of 2021 type deal.
Yeah, but knowing you probably said something stupid like, I don't know, Horizon Zero, whatever, Wild Wild West.
It's Forbidden West, but yes, I did include that. But
That's what I thought.
I tried to include some other stuff. Like I talked about, they're coming out with the Resident Evil 8 game, of course, which we're going to talk about today. There was some other stuff I cannot remember off the top of my head, but I did talk about more than just Horizon Zero Dawn Forbidden West. I promise. Um,
Really, not much coming out soon, to be fair.
yeah, I'll say I think really, I mean, there's some stuff coming out, but I think that with COVID and everything else, it's just been a slow production year, just in general for everything. I mean, movies, TV shows, the whole nine yards. Everything's been super duper slow.
Well, somewhere around the second half this year should start a little. Still got
Hopefully,
Halo Infinite to look forward to, so that's something.
yeah. I think I actually included Halo Infinite in that video when we were talking about it.
I
Um,
have high hopes, is all I'm gonna say.
yeah, it should be interesting. I think we talked about it briefly, but I remember that there was like some hoopla coming on about people were like, "Oh yeah, it looks like it's like the graphics were bad or some shit." I can't remember what people were bitching about.
Yeah, they were just whining that the not it wasn't even like beta footage. It was literally scratched together a week before E3, and they're like, okay, this is roughly what we have so far.
This is roughly what we're working with, guys. Um, but I guess onto some actual official use some words. Resident Evil 8. Oh boy, we got a demo. But it wasn't a fighting demo. It was like just like a walkthrough demo, wasn't it? It was called like Maiden, wasn't it?
Yes, I actually have not played it yet. I don't like the fact that they made it PlayStation exclusive.
Well, it's PlayStation 5 exclusive. I can't get it on PlayStation 4, I don't think.
Well, let me Google that real quick, because that just sounds like a terrible idea.
I'm pretty sure it was, if I remember correctly. I mean, I could be wrong, but
Let's see, demo PS4. Um, it says really not much. I'm not seeing anywhere. No, yeah, it's exclusive to PS5. That is a bold move by Capcom.
right, they're gonna put it on the console that sold the least in the last couple months. But pop off.
I mean, hey, on the upside, those scalpers are having a fun time right about now.
Well, I'm sure some Resident Evil fans are like, "Holy shit! I need to get my hands on a fucking PS5 so I can play that." But yeah, I mean, so if you have a PlayStation 5, I know some folks uploaded like videos of it. I know plenty of people did because I'm sure that a lot of people are like, "Holy shit!" Like, there's literally no human way to play this unless I have a PlayStation 5. And then like the likelihood of you having a PlayStation 5 is very minuscule because of how little their stock is. Um, so yeah, we're batting 1,000 for that one. So not really loving the demo. I've actually not watched it yet, but I'm not loving that it was PS5 only. But obviously, just the trailer and the brief gameplay has spawned so many jokes. Because for people who have been living under a rock, there's a very tall woman in white with her breasts are slightly exposed, and that has brought a lot of attention from the fan art people in the world. So that's always great.
It's a very politically correct way of saying that everyone is loving Big Titty Mommy Vampire GF.
Apparently, and
It
not
is a
only that,
great time to be able to make art
it really
because
is.
they are floating in just revenue.
I was gonna say, I bet they're raking in the money, just absolutely tearing it up. Not only that, but there was also one of the other like because her name's like Lady Demesra or something like that.
I have no clue. To be fair, I haven't seen the trailer. I've only
Really,
seen second, third hand, like
memes.
people reacting to it solely because Big Titty Mommy Vampire GF.
But there's also like other characters in it, like other girls that are like clad in black and they're wearing like chains and stuff, and people are like, oh man, meet me a goth GF or something.
I'm telling you, if you get the chance, you need to watch the most recent YouTube video from Chris Raygun. I think it's called "Is Resident Evil 8 Too Hot?"
Is
Which
Resident
is
Evil
a
Scott.
fair question.
Apparently, because legitimately, like I cannot even begin to fathom the just brutal amount of like memes that I've seen about it. I mean, I've probably seen just as about many memes about her as I have about Bernie Sanders, and that's to say a lot.
Oh, and we're what? Not even one whole month into 2021 yet.
Honestly, somebody's gonna have to start making one of those calendars for like 20 like meme best memes of 2021. And I don't know, guys. Like I don't know if I'd pick Bernie Sanders or the big titty vampire GF.
Gonna have to commission someone to do a drawing of Big Titty Mommy Vampire GF sitting like Bernie Sanders just for the
Ooh,
meme.
damn. But in addition to that, yeah, a lot of people are also not super stoked about like the path that Capcom's taking. Um, a lot of people are talking about like, oh, it's supernatural rather than just being like zombies and BOWs. What are your
Well,
thoughts about that?
I don't think it's as supernatural as they're letting on.
I agree.
because I know the rumor is there are going to be werewolves. But,
Yeah.
canonically speaking, lycanthropy exists in Resident Evil.
Yeah,
Even
I say I remembered, wasn't it in like one of the other games? Like they don't directly acknowledge it, but it's like in like a letter or something.
I think it's mentioned in one of the like background files in a game, but
Yeah,
there was also a canon comic that shows Leon going on a mission where he runs into a virus that turns people into giant bats, like vampire bats.
I gotcha.
So I mean, not really too far off the beaten path for Resident Evil.
I mean, if you really think about it, think about some of the other monsters from the other games, like the like lickers. Lickers are they're pretty outlandish if you think about it. Or the what's like the one armed motherfuckers from Code Veronica.
Ah, the something's knocked.
The
Uber.
it is German. It's shit.
I know
What
the
are they
name.
called? I know exactly because when you said that, it made sense. Bandersnatch.
That's it, Bandersnatch.
I mean, you got the Bandersnatch, which are like literally like these one-armed goo monster-looking motherfuckers. I mean, you have T-virus infected sharks, T-virus infected animals, and then, like you said, the possibility of lycanthropy with the comics showing the virus that turns them into man-eating or vampire bat-looking things. So I mean, it's not really, like you said, it's not too far from the beaten path. I think it's just one of those situations where people are really taking it too deep on the surface, if you will, and they're not thinking that there's probably a very good explanation for it.
Well, as good of an explanation as Resident Evil can conjure.
Right. Of course, Resident Evil has had a very hard time of keeping things in the right realm, but I don't know, especially with Resident Evil 7. Resident Evil 7 honestly really kind of opened up. I feel like the possibilities for like different expansions in terms of like an infection. I don't remember the woman's name, the mother, but she was like an
Oh,
insect.
Marguerite.
Yeah, Margaret was like an insect type deal. um you know Fucking the guy, the father, I can't remember his name either.
Jack.
um Yeah, Jack. He was like some weird like serpent thing when he was fully infected. Lucas turned into a monster too. I think the only one that didn't was Zoe.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Resident Evil has always been about absurd transformations. People turning into tyrants, whatever that thing Steve Burnside turned into.
Yeah, it
So
was like a golem looking thing.
exactly. So I'm open to where they're going with it. I'm just happy we're going to see something a little more. I don't know. It looks like Resident Evil 4.
Yeah,
So, kind of diving back into that rural, old world kind of feeling. Because I liked Resident Evil 7, but I don't know. The location felt stale after a few hours of gameplay.
yeah. I will say that there. I don't know, when I go back there and I played it a couple times, like yeah, it started to kind of feel a little stale, but I still think that Resident Evil 7 is probably one of the better Resident Evil games that we've gotten, especially lately.
It's one of the better Resident Evil mainline entries that is not a remake.
Yeah.
Because I would argue if we're going best overall, I'll be honest, I thought Resident Evil 2 was probably one of my favorite Resident Evil games so far.
Which one? I'm sorry, I zoned out for a second.
Resident Evil 2 Remake.
Yeah, Resident Evil 2 Remake, I would probably say is one of the best just in general. I mean, it basically it holds up to the original Resident Evil 2 perfectly, but in addition to that, also capitalizes on newer advancements in technology to make it even better.
And the thing was, Resident Evil 3 Remake was on par, or at least on course, to outshine Resident Evil 2 Remake. They had all the makings of a good game.
Yeah.
And then they, I don't know, let's say in the last 10 feet of the race, didn't just trip and fall. They tripped, got into the self-service position, and bit off their own dick. Literally. I don't know, it would have been so easy to just remake Resident Evil 3 verbatim, and it would still come out a good game. And don't get me wrong, I like Resident Evil 3 Remake. But it's too short, they cut out too much content, and there's been no post-launch like updates or content or anything. Instead, they focused all their money and effort into whatever that dumb multiplayer game was that no one likes.
Yeah, Resistance.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, Resistance was, for lack of a better phrase, absolute garbage. I honestly, I can think of 101 different games that I would like to play more than Resistance. And, you know, there are some games in there that probably would make other people want to throw themselves off bridges. But I would much rather play those than Resistance, because Resistance is a literal spit in the face of all things Resident Evil. So,
Resistance, I like the premise of a multiplayer Resident Evil. But instead of making a proper multiplayer Resident Evil, which in my opinion would be remaking Outbreak,
yeah.
they said, hey, let's make it multiplayer, but the most annoying, contrived bullshit. Because who actually thought it would be a good idea to let one player play as, what is it, like the mastermind or whatever?
Yeah, but it's like different characters. Like, you can play as like Annette Birkin, or, you know, other people who are considered quote unquote masterminds.
It could have worked, but they put too much work into it and not enough into Resident Evil 3. Like, literally none. They put no work into it. The least they could have done is come along, post, I don't know, all of this bullshit, and been like, hey, we're going to throw in mercenary mode or something, just for fun, just for free. And immediately the ratings would have gone up. I guarantee it.
Well, for sure, because, you know, my biggest issue with Resident Evil 3, and honestly, I hope that, you know, Resident Evil 8 doesn't have a, you know, a redo of this, is that there was nothing extra, right? You know, Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil 2 both had so much bonus content. You know, Resident Evil 7 had Ethan Must Die. It had all of the different tapes and everything else. That being said, Resident Evil 2 did something similar. They had all the extra content. You know, they had different, you know, difficulties. They had different scenarios. I mean, literally, it gave us so much stuff to do. But then Resident Evil 3 is just like, all right, you have this, you know, 2-hour main story, and then you can play everything else. But everything else is the bullshit of Resistance. So,
I'll say, what can you do?
possibly throw myself off a cliff. We'll see.
Not a bad idea.
But speaking of possible burnouts, tell us a little bit about our RE-verse, or whatever the fuck it's called.
All right, so Resident Evil RE-verse. Basically, everyone thought they were working on a Resident Evil 4 remake. And who knows, maybe they are, somewhere, somehow. But instead of announcing it, along with the new Resident Evil 8 demo solely on the PS5, they decided to announce Resident Evil RE-verse, which it's just them opening up an old can of worms, a reused can of worms. I don't know if you remember Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City, but there was a game mode in it, multiplayer, where you could do a 4v4 hero versus villain battle. And pretty much that's exactly what this is. The whole game is 4 to 6 players, and you just go at it. It's just a deathmatch style, 5-minute rounds. There's nothing new. It's all old content. They've put no effort into it whatsoever. But I guess, I don't know. There's not really much else I can say. I think my opinion on it is pretty clear. I think it's a terrible idea.
No, I would agree. I think it's treading old ground. I think that without any major significant, or I should say, major and or significant improvements, or adjustments, that basically we're just going to get some same old bullshit that's not really going to do us any good. That being said, I just hope that this isn't another one of those situations where we get like a really highly anticipated main game, or what we would believe to be a main game, but then it's like half baked, and then basically eventually provide us RE-verse, and it's just like, oh, okay, well that's bullshit.
That's what I'm worried is going to happen. I think they are going to literally underperform with Resident Evil 8. No matter how hard they try, they're going to put it out. It's only going to have so much to offer. And then they're really going to bank on people buying RE-verse. Because, I don't know, Capcom has this weird business model now, which is they don't want to make single-player Resident Evil games. They want to keep making experimental multiplayer games that no one likes. It's a bold move, but
it is. And here's my only thing is because I hope they don't underperform with Resident Evil 8, because if they do, then we're going to be put into a similar situation with Resident Evil 3. And I remember when Resident Evil 3 came out with Resistance, and I mean, obviously we had our opposition, but it wasn't just us. There were a lot of people who were opposed to basically how they did it, with no additional content, just giving us the two bullshit games, basically. So if they do the same thing with Resident Evil 8, I definitely feel like it would burn everyone out on the concept.
I'll give it a chance.
Exactly.
I think RE-verse, you could sell it for $20, and I would try it. But I worry they're going to try and sell it as a $60 game. Or, let me see. I think it might actually be an add-on for Resident Evil 8. Let's see. No, this isn't even Capcom.com. This is ResidentEvil.com/reverse. All right. If you purchase Resident Evil Village on the PlayStation 5, then the version of what the fuck? Oh. Okay, so it says right here, if you buy the RE8 Village on the next gen, it'll also be available on current gen, which is good. I think that's
right.
good compared to what fucking who was it? Call of Duty did, where they're like, oh yeah, $10 extra a backwards compatible version. Let's see. Online only, multiplayer title. I guess it says right here it will come alongside Resident Evil 8, which is really not good news.
So you said it is going to come along Resident Evil 8?
From the look of it, yeah.
Either they're
That's
going
what
to
it's
release
shaping up.
this and and we're going to get a really great Resident Evil, just like Resident Evil 7 was. And then we'll also get this other main game, or the main title, quote unquote, that is RE-verse. So yeah, I'm not liking our odds.
Let's
Sorry
just
for
say
the
that it's a long shot. I
it
think
is.
they have exponentially made it more difficult on themselves to put out a proper Resident Evil. But even if it is 1 in a million, they still have a chance.
What a million.
Well, okay, maybe not 1 in a million. Let's say it's more like 1 in 100. 99 chances we're going to get a subpar Resident Evil Village. And they're going to focus all of their effort on RE-verse or reverse or whatever you want to call it. But I think there's a 1 in 100 chance they do it right. Because even like looking at the Resident Evil RE-verse, what do you call it? Like the web page, it says like multiple points that please note that depending on the timing of your purchase, Resident Evil Reverse may already be no longer available. So I mean, there's a chance this game may just flop so hard that they pretend it never existed.
Oh, so that's so weird.
It's a bold move to just say, "Nah, we deleted it. Sorry."
That's so weird. I mean, like, that's really weird. I bet they're afraid because of Resistance. They're probably like, look, we're not really sure how this is gonna go, guys. So like,
I will say, I'm liking that Resident Evil, in anticipation of their new game, they're doing collaborations with other companies.
yeah, I saw that.
Like, have you seen the collaboration with Ghost Recon? No, not Ghost Recon. It's The Division 2.
Uh-uh.
Of all games, they chose that one. But for a limited time, you'll be able to get like Stars gear. So,
Okay.
yeah, I might actually have to re-download the game now.
I was like, that's the Division 2, you said, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
the
thought
inferior division.
you said the inferior or superior.
In my opinion, inferior. I don't like DC, but I don't know. Maybe the game's not that bad once I start playing it.
You said you don't like DC?
Yeah, where it takes place.
Oh, Washington, D.C. Oh. Uh, I was like, what the fuck? What do you mean, D.C.? Okay, I get you.
I'm a
I got you.
Marvel guy.
I was like, because the first one happened in New York, right?
Yeah. New York
Uh,
during winter, the best time.
New York during winter.
I mean,
New
tell
York, wintertime.
tell me that the snowy streets of New York were not a great environment to play in.
If it weren't for the other issues the game had, yes, that was an ideal environment for what kind of seems almost post-apocalyptic in a way, you know.
Exactly. Like, don't get me wrong. I still think that they should have made the game more like a tactical shooter instead of a looter shooter.
Yeah, I agree.
But other
I
than that, I loved New York in that game.
Oh yeah, for sure. The setting was great. I also didn't care for the whole the DPS system.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
And honestly, it's part of the reason why like I really enjoy Breakpoint is because they offer an alternative to DPS that still makes sense.
Well, Breakpoint doesn't really have a DPS system. It's just a very skewed leveling system. Because you can still kill enemies who are above your level. But I don't know, it just limits where you can and can't go. Thank God they removed it. But
You
I don't
can't limit me. I'm an American.
But yeah, what are we talking about again?
We got a little off base because we were talking about how we're fearful that Resident Evil 8 is going to flop like Resident Evil 3 did, because they're focusing all of their attention on their side project, their side hoe, if you will. And then we got into how Resident Evil is in Capcom. They're kind of reaching out to other people and doing partnerships, and they did one with the Division 2. And then we got kind of talking about DPS and everything else. But basically, guys, we're afraid, but we're cautiously optimistic.
I have hope.
I have high hopes.
I'm trying to see what else they're doing, like, fucking, what's, crossover. Yeah, motherfucking,
Can I get a motherfucking beast trigger?
Can I get the, motherfucking, burger?
Burger. Can I get a boneless pizza?
Yeah, boneless.
Shit, that video cracked me up, dude. I remember you showed me that. I was like, what the fuck?
I showed you that one, but have you seen the one where they're in the bread store where the guy's like, welcome to the bread store. We got, and the guy's like, I don't care what you got. I need a baguette and a brioche. And the guy's like, nah, we ain't got none of that. We got potato bread, gluten-free bread, and bread. And the guy's like, well, fuck, it's gluten. Take that shit out. He's like, it's gluten-free. Other guy's like, I don't care if it's free. Take that motherfucker out. And then the man walks up and he's like, what's the situation? It's a drug trip, but boy, is it great.
Oh, Lord. That was great. But, so I guess to kind of wrap on the Resident Evil, fingers crossed, guys, Resident Evil 8 comes out soon. I think it's like April or May, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. But we also have some stuff from 2020 that's kind of bled into 2021. Some stuff that's gotten really popular. First and foremost is Phasmophobia. It's super, super, super hot still for gamers and gamer YouTubes. Gamer girls. But yeah.
Where to start on this? It's kind of slowed down since when I put this on the list. Because when I initially put this on the list to talk about, Phasmophobia was literally blowing up the internet. I could not log into YouTube without seeing someone complaining about, oh, this new Phasmophobia level is impossible, or here's a video of me and my friends sucking a poltergeist dick in Phasmophobia. We gave a demon a handy in Phasmophobia. So yeah. But since then, it's kind of slowed down. It's still pretty hot, especially since the small team that makes the game is, trying to push out new content on a semi-regular basis. But what to talk about? What are your feelings on Phasmophobia?
Honestly, I have not. I've not really watched it. I've not really played it. I've never really watched anybody play it either. So I have like a general idea about what it's about. But like I know that like a lot of people play it. Like Markiplier's super into it. Yeah, I mean,
Markiplier plays it. PewDD. The Gam Grumps. I don't know. I don't know many YouTubers these days, but everyone's playing it. And
yeah,
I'll admit, it looks fun. But see, the problem there is, I'm a little bitch baby. I don't like to be scared. And Lord knows that would frighten the hell out of me.
I'm a little bitch baby.
Don't fucking rub it in, dude.
Yeah, like I would play it, but it's PC only, right?
You don't got a PC. You fucking console pleb.
Well, I don't have the money for PC. I am saving up though. I'm saving up for a PC. Looking to get that in the near future, hopefully.
Waiting for that government cheddar to roll in.
That or my tax return. I got married last year, so I'm gonna get a nice fat tax break.
Getting married for the taxes.
That's pretty much it. I'm kidding. But so maybe I'll play it when it comes out, like when I get my PC. There's a lot of stuff that I love to play on PC that I wanted to play, but I never really had a chance to. First and foremost, I want to play Counter-Strike Source so bad. Like, I love Counter-Strike Source so much, and I haven't played it in years. But I looked it up, and there are still servers and stuff, so I can probably hop on there and play some games.
Bro, good luck with that. I mean, I log in occasionally, but there's really not much going on.
Well, hey, maybe we can like find a server with some bots, and me and you can just play.
Whenever I get bored, I sometimes log in and just play with bots.
So I remember, oh man, I remember when we were younger, we would play that at Jay's house, desolate server somewhere, and like log in and play like bots just like with me, you, and like one other person who's like vibing.
I'll say friends can join.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool. I did not know that.
Can't really blame you for that.
Honestly, I remember.
And then there's like an underground area, and in every area there was like couches and vending machines you could knock over and barricade doors with.
Yep.
And we would literally just spend probably hours at a time just sitting there trying to find the best spot to hole up with whatever guns. I would always go with the M249 because
that thing was a beast.
It's the go-to for zombies.
It really was. Sometimes I would use that. Sometimes I would use the silenced M4 because a lot of those maps had they would have like unlimited ammo mods, so you could just like hold that bitch down for hours. And the silenced M4 has very little movement, so you could just be a headshot machine on full auto.
Those were the days, weren't they?
They really were. Like, honestly, those were the days. I mean, I catch myself sometimes reminiscing about playing Counter-Strike Source. Like, God, how long ago was that? 7 years ago, probably 8 years ago.
Nah, I think it would have been more than that, honestly.
I was gonna say probably like circa 2012, maybe. So 9 years ago.
I'll be honest, I have no clue. I just know that I'm getting old, and it's been at least a decade.
I'll say you're turning 25 this year, aren't you?
Yeah. Thanks for reminding me about that.
Bro, I'm turning 26 this year.
Fucking old ass bitch.
I was gonna say I'm gonna be 30 before we know it.
Reminds me of that song. What is it? It's the guys who did Superman, Five for Fighting.
Sure.
What's it called? I don't know. Basically, the song's about growing up, and it's like 15 for a moment. 22 for a moment. What is it? God, I'm literally just going to type it.
I know
5,
what you're talking about.
4. My hands don't work. 100 years. That's it.
Yeah, 5 for Fighting 100 Years. Says, I'm 15 for a moment, caught in between 10 and 20, and I'm just dreaming. 15, there's still time for you.
Listen, man, I'm just afraid I'm getting real close to that 45 moment.
Let me pull up the lyrics. I'm pulling it up. Don't worry. Give me a second.
We'll pull it up. Go on. Don't worry.
I'm 45 for a moment. The sea is high, and I'm heading into a crisis, chasing the years of my life.
Tell me that shit is not fucking scary, man.
That is scary, dude, because legitimately, like, I'm going to be 30 in 4 years.
I don't know. How old are
Man,
you?
I'm 25. Well, I'm 25 right now, but I turned 26 in September.
So you got 4.5 years, then you're 30. That
Yeah.
leaves you 15, so you got 19 years until you're 45.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
Which means you are closer to 45 than you are to your birth.
I will commit not lie.
It's like, man, the longer we talk about this, the more the cyanide pill sounds tasty.
The more we talk about this, the closer I am to taking the Kurt Cobain Express.
About to sing a tune on Kurt Cobain's microphone.
I said that the other day to my wife, and just obviously joking. Like I clearly I was joking, but and she was like, "Holy shit, that's morbid." I'm like, I mean, yeah.
I don't know, man. I make those jokes all the time, but it gets to the point where you make them so often that you forget. Not everyone finds those as jokes.
Some people are like, "Yo, bro, you okay? Do I need to
Like,
call somebody?"
like I remember one time working at a factory. I was turning this machine, and I banged up my hand pretty bad. And I can't remember what my exact words were, but without thinking, I said something along the lines of, "God fucking damn it, I'm gonna put a 45 through my skull." And this old dude I'm working with, he didn't say a word. He just looked at me with this pain in his eyes, like he was actually concerned for my health.
And you're like, "Oh no, bro, I'm good."
I would have said, "Oh no, don't worry about it, dog.
He's like, "I am worried about it though."
I'm pretty sure I got a strike on my record that day."
Damn. They're just like, "Look, we're concerned about you, so we're gonna write you up."
They're like, "You're on a makeshift suicide watch."
Then they're just like, "So we're gonna write you up," and then you should have been like, "Well, guess that means I'm gonna actually do it."
Well, I was looking for justification. Guess this'll work.
Oh man, we are deeply disturbed people, but it's fine.
My flaws are numerous.
Oh Lord. But besides taking the Kurt Cobain Express, because we're getting old, what were we talking about? Oh, we were talking about fame, like we were talking about like some stuff that's been trending with basically the internet, phasmophobia, and Among Us. That was the other one. That was like a big thing for a while.
I'm hesitant to talk about Among Us.
Why?
I don't know, man. Like, it seems like a fun enough game, but it's become such a. It's the new Fortnite in a way, where
Right.
I cannot escape it. And no matter where I go, there are 9-year-old babies talking about Among Us. Like, literally, I could go out to Walmart right now, pick up a box of fucking saltine crackers and drop it on the ground on accident, and there will be an army of 9-year-olds who walk around the corner, point at me, and say, "He's sus. He's sus. He's sus."
He sus. He sus.
And it's like, I'm not above hitting kids, But the fact that a video game on the internet is making me want to hit kids is concerning.
Yeah, I had somebody, my job that I work at, we have a chat system for when people have questions about shit. And somebody was like, "Yeah, this person's acting pretty sus," and I'm like, "Oh God."
You would be surprised how quickly I put a 45 through my computer screen.
Exactly. Yeah, this might be company property, but it's about to get a fucking bat through it. So let's just.
Man, like, don't get me wrong, I love the dumbass memes
Oh, of
where
course.
it's like, oh, Tom Cruise is sus, he vented, he killed Red or something. It's like, shut the fuck up. You make me laugh, but that doesn't mean it's okay that you said it.
Right. Just because I chuckled does not mean that I'm okay with this.
I will say though, I gotta give credit to whoever made the game because the game came out years ago, and literally no one knew it existed until God, I can't even remember who it was who revived it. But now it's literally like, oh yeah, people have remade it in VR chat. People have remade it with proximity voice chat.
Yeah.
It's like you guys are putting a lot of efforts into what is literally a step above a flash game on addictinggames.com.
Oh my God, addicting game. Oh, I loved addictinggames.com.
Bro. What was that one? It was what was it? Some virtual buddy?
Yeah, and you just like tortured like some like virtual buddy doll thing.
Yeah, that sounds really demented in hindsight.
I was gonna say I was really fucked up, or like the all the stick figure games that were like basically you just completely mutilating stick figure people.
Oh, Stick Death.
Yeah, I remember that was a website for a while too.
I'm gonna be honest. Ironically, I think that's what made me learn compassion and humanity. Because watching those videos and those games, ironically made me more like, damn, this shit's kind of fucked.
I was gonna say some of those things on there, they were like, they were just stick figures, but stick figures are only a short jaunt away from human beings. So like,
Yeah, we're basically watching the PG friendly version of Snuff.
essentially, and like honestly, like I wonder where like the people are who made that website. Like, I wonder what they're doing these days.
Wild fucking guess, prison.
Probably. Hey,
I'll
speaking
say,
of, there were some prison games on there too, if I remember right.
oh yeah, I remember. There was one where it was basically Wheel of Fortune, but they would
Yeah.
roll it, and they just and the whole concept is like, oh, this is how we kill prisoners. And I remember watching that and just being like, yo, I'm actually going to go to my room and fucking cry. What the fuck?
Yeah. Oh my god.
Like, don't
It's just good.
I could I'm pretty desensitized to a lot of that stuff, but it was stuff like that. It was just excessive that made me, I don't know, not an empath like per se, but it made me at least say, yeah, no, this ain't for me. You know, I don't
You
think I'm
know,
a serial killer.
basically, it's like rather than rounding the corner of sociopathy, you rounded the corner of empathy.
Don't get me wrong, I'm still a sociopath, but stick
Not a
that.
sadistic one.
Yeah, not sadistic.
Man, that
Uh,
was so wild. Who showed us that?
I'm gonna take a wild guess and say either Jay
I'll say
or Yuri.
maybe, or TA maybe.
Ooh, that does sound likely.
That's what I was say. So
Now that you bring the yeah, some of ICP stuff was a little. You know, yeah. I think I chose to forget that.
And you're like, and by you saying that, it brought a memory back that I really wasn't wanting. So thanks for that.
I was not desiring these feelings of regret, but alas, here we are.
So I remember Jay was super into. He was not like super into ICP, but I knew he was a little bit, and he also listened to like similar bands to ICP, like other clown related artists.
Other clown type music.
Bro, it's such a fucking weird statement to say, like, other clown related artists. The 2000s were absolutely mind fucked. I mean, like, seriously.
Well, now that you bring up the year 2000, let me tell you about this website I recently found.
Oh, God.
It's called How Bad Is Your Spotify? It's an AI that you plug in your Spotify credentials to, and it
Okay.
judges your listening history. And let's just say that it thinks I'm a wannabe 40-year-old skateboarder based on my obsession with late 2000s, early 2010 music. And this,
Then it's
like,
it's gonna call me out too. Then probably.
yeah, like, I'm gonna send you a link to this because this shit genuinely is hilarious because it roasts the hell out of you.
I'm doing it. Bear me a second here.
All right, I'm gonna do it too so I can read. Hi, I'm an AI trained to evaluate musical taste. To get started, I'll need to see your Spotify. I'm just gonna look at what you listen to. I won't post or change anything. Okay, let's log in. Loading your music library. Spotify limiting how many people can use this app at once, so you'll need to wait. Alright. LOL, OMG. Okay, hold up. Do you really listen to Vanilla Twilight by Owl City? Jesus Christ. Yes. Like, ironically, no, dot, dot, dot. And it just says, cool, dot, dot, dot. This bitch.
The audacity.
Seen plenty of pop rock, finding a lot of Foo Fighters, like, a lot. Oh boy, Hallelujah by Rufus Wainwright. Well, damn, bitch. What's wrong with that?
I like that song.
Oh, great, another Ninja Sex Party stan. Fuck you too. I guess this one's kind of a valid criticism of me. It says, you've been listening to a lot of Ken Ashcore. You okay? Yeah, not really. It says, listen, I'm just a neural net. Do what you gotta do.
All right, here you want to hear mine?
Yeah, fuck it.
So this one says, first one says, okay, loading your music library, blah, blah, analyzing, lol, OMG, okay, hold up. Do you really listen to Banana Pancakes by Jack Johnson? Look, look, okay, have you ever heard the song Banana Pancakes by Jack Johnson? Or have you listened to Jack Johnson ever before?
I only have one Jack Johnson song on my playlist, and that's
Is it
uh
Better Together?
no, it's the song he did for the Curious George soundtrack.
Oh, shit, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Upside down.
Okay, that's a good song.
It's fucking great, man.
But like Banana Pancakes, it's like super calm and soothing. I mean, honestly, Jack Johnson's a very white band or individual, I should say. So
A
it's
very white individual.
very Caucasian of me to listen to Jack Johnson, but still, Banana Pancakes is awesome. It relaxes me.
I think I think Jack Johnson just comes with the territory of being white.
And I get asked me if I listen to that. So I said yes, I do listen to that. And it's like ironically, and I'm like no. He's like cool. Dot dot dot.
This mother.
Okay. Seeing plenty of pop, finding a lot of Imagine Dragons, like a lot. Um, oh boy, Cinema by Benny Benassi. Okay, look,
Bro.
Benny Benassi. Cinema by Benny Benassi is a fucking iconic song. I don't care who you are. And it says, "Oh great, another Joji stan. You've been listening to a lot of Joji lately. You okay? Yeah, why? No reason.
I'm
And it
not
says, of
saying
course.
I'm not even gonna say that's subtle shade. That's pretty outright shade.
Right. And it says, of course, Lincoln Park. And then it says one last thing: fuck, Mary, kill, choose fast. The killers, Joey or Jack Johnson. Okay.
You say it was the Killers, Joji, and Jack Johnson.
Yeah. So I guess I'm gonna kill the killers, fuck Joji, and marry Jack Johnson.
Kill the Killers. Bold move.
It asked me if I've ever been to Coachella. No, clearly that was exhausting. Fuck. Let's get your final score. Oh Jesus. Your
Oh,
Spotify was pretty good. JK. It says your Spotify was bad. Uncle's Rat Pack, Poker Night, Retirement, Home, Basic, Birth of Christ. Ooh.
Ooh, boy.
So basically, think you can hit the whistle notes bad, radioactive in the bad way bad, boring campfire bad, Twitter fighting bad, adult skateboarder bad. Unfortunately, that's not all I learned. Oh fuck.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Okay.
It just posts your address. You got
It says,
doxxed and roasted.
it says you listen to these tracks too much. TikTok by Joji, Ew by Joji, Modus by Joji, Give Me Love by Joji, and Daylight by Joji. Shit. You stand these.
What's wrong with you, dude?
Dude, Joji is awesome. His last album was iconic.
At
It
least
says,
every one of my listen to watch tracks is by a different artist.
and then it says, you stand these artists to an uncomfortable extent. Imagine Dragons, The Killers, Joji, Jack Johnson, and Linkin Park. It says you're 60% basic. You listen to a few unique things, whatever, but that's not, but most of it's what everybody else listens to. And you're stuck in the early 2010s. You must have peaked right around Benny Benassi's Electro Man.
Yeah, that
Oh
sounds
my god.
right. Well, let me
Shit.
read some of mine. Mine was, I've read you everything up until Fuck, Marry, Kill. At which point it said, Fuck, Marry, Kill, Imagine Dragons, Ninja Sex Party, and what's that band? It's not even, it's Jeff Williams. Literally just the dude who does the Red versus Blue soundtrack. I
Oh
don't know
yeah,
why he's on there. He's a great artist, but so obviously I said kill Imagine Dragons, marry Ninja Sex Party, and fuck Jeff Williams.
yeah. Shit.
Obviously.
Obviously.
So it says your Spotify was can't name the members in the band, Comedy Dweeb, Africa on Touch Tunes, bad. Thank your obsession with Imagine Dragons, comic music, examples Ken Ashcore and Ninja Sex Party, and Africa for that. Based on your listening habits, I can tell you your Spotify was Adult Skateboarder bad, Stompin' Holler bad, Stoner Frat Bro bad, Still listening to The Scientist bad, Grey's Anatomy soundtrack bad. That one struck a nerve.
You're like,
Like what's that guy who does Kylo Ren?
yeah.
In that one movie, it's like, do not compare me to my father.
Yeah.
Except for in this case, my mother.
Oh shit. That's
I don't
funny
even
stuff.
remember his name, but it says you
That's
listen to these tracks too much. Dancing in the Moonlight by King Harvest, Blinding
Dancing in the
Lights by
Moonlight.
American Pie by Don McLean, The Funeral by Band of Horses, and Magnum Bullets by Night Runner. You stand these artists to an uncomfortable extent. Foo Fighters, Imagine Dragons, Ninja Sex Party, Jeff Williams, and Ken Ashcorp. You are 23% basic. You're trying to impress with some obscure tracks with bands like Trocadero. Nobody's fooled. You're stuck in the 2010s. You must have peaked right around Rufus Wainwright's Vibrates, the best of. So,
So go back to your song. You said one of them was Blinding Lights by The Weeknd. You like that song?
Yeah, it's catchy, so yeah, I listen to it somewhat regularly.
Honestly, I don't. I like that song a lot. The opening just I don't know why it just kind of reminds me of like the 80s.
It's literally just I listen to it and I picture vaporwave.
Yeah, essentially, yes.
Well, not vaporwave, but more like synthwave.
Which essentially was the 80s.
Yeah, pretty much in a nutshell.
Bro,
I
I
don't.
listened to. Or God,
I was gonna say I don't get why Imagine Dragons is on here. I really don't listen to them all that much. In
I don't
fact,
get me wrong. Like, go ahead.
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, don't get me wrong. Like, I like Imagine Dragons, and I listen to them pretty regularly. But honestly, like, I don't use my Spotify all that much. I recently used it quite a bit to listen to Joji because his new album wasn't loaded correctly in Apple Music, so like it was super fucky. So I had to listen to it in Spotify. So that's probably why like all of my shit was showing as Joji.
I mean, that's what you get for using Apple Music. Come on, dude.
Well, look, I like Apple Music. Apple Music's done me right so far.
Oh, that is the roughest thing I've ever heard.
Hey man, don't hate the player, hate the game.
No, no, I hate you.
Shit. Oh man. All right, so it's we are approaching or over that hour mark, and we have accomplished very little as always. We talked about a little bit of a recap. We did the Resident Evil um, shit fest. We talked about Phasmophobia and Among Us very briefly, and then we talked about Spotify making fun of our music taste.
I told you, bro. That is easily my favorite thing I've seen in the last, I don't know, year and a half. It's been a rough year
Uh,
and a half, so getting
it
roasted by Spotify was cathartic.
it was like honestly that was pretty fun. I sent it to my wife, so I'll have to see what her says. But yeah, that was some funny shit, dude. It cracks me up
I'm telling
because
you,
it's like it calls you out, dude. It really does, and it cuts deep.
I'm telling you, if I got listens to what was it, the Grey's Anatomy soundtrack bad, hers is going to be a nightmare.
I was gonna say she probably does have that. She probably has the Grey's Anatomy soundtrack saved. She loves Grey's Anatomy. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy watching it, but like I feel like all the songs they're all like covers of like popular songs, and their go to like sad song is "Chasing Cars" by Snow Patrol.
Which is really sad because I love chasing cars. But goddamn, they need to find something new.
Right? You need to choose something else that is not "Chasing Cars" by Snow Patrol.
It's like you do know there is a whole world of music out there. Oh,
Oh fuck!
guess what? It's time for Tetris.
Oh, is it Tetris Prime Time?
Hell yeah, bro. I have not been keeping
Chasing.
up with this very well.
Honestly, what was it? The other day I won like I think
What?
I won $1 on Prime Time the other day.
Oh, big man in town.
Hell yeah, bro! Buy myself a McChicken.
I won. I had up to like $22, but for some reason, and I still have yet to figure out how. For some reason, Xbox took it out of my PayPal to pay for Game Pass. But I looked at it and I'm like, I shouldn't have had to pay for Game Pass for another month and a half.
Shit.
So I fixed it. But now I'm down to like $0.
That was a sad day because typically, I mean, I've never won more than like $5, I think.
That is usually how it goes.
But anywho, rather than talking about Tetris Prime Time, which if you guys have never played it, it's actually pretty fun. It's pretty straightforward. You just play Tetris, and you can possibly win some money. Hey Tetris, if you want to sponsor us, I will do a much better promo. I
Yeah.
promise.
was going to say hashtag not sponsored, but I'm not saying we wouldn't.
Right, I'm not saying that I'm not a corporate sellout. I would 100% sell out in a fucking heartbeat for some promotion from Tetris. But
dude, I will only sell out to a business I use, and Lord knows I play a shit ton of Tetris now.
same. I play an uncomfortable amount of Tetris these days.
Feels like such an old person game, but God, is it relaxing.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, if you really think about it, I mean, yes and no. It's an old person game, but it's still a lot of fun, for sure.
Oh, man.
So I think that about wraps it up for us today, guys. I hope you enjoyed our ramblings. I know this is our first one in the new year, so hopefully we can keep this track up in the coming weeks. But Salsa, how about you go ahead and just close us out? Actually, before you close us out, everybody out there, follow us on Twitter and Facebook. The information is at the end of the video as well as in the description down below. And as always, like the video and subscribe to us on YouTube. Now you can close us out, Salsa.
Oh, shit. What am I supposed to say? Oh, I really don't have much great advice. It's been a rough what little year we've had so far. But I guess if I had to give you some advice, it's shit, just keep on trucking, dude. You know? Times may be hard and the government may not be sending out those relief checks fast enough, but look at the bright side. You can always listen to our podcast and laugh at us being dumbasses. Easy peasy.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
I'll see you next time, Space Cowboy.